Hi class, this is Neil, and this is the final video for lesson 9. I'm not really going to spend time going over what you need to do to answer these questions. I'm not going to review them in their entirety. We'll just kind of get you started. So for question 2, we're asked to compare plans at 2 different banks. So for part A, we need to write a function for each bank. So I need to write a function for Bank Fancy and for Bank Glamorous. Okay, one thing to note is that one of those banks compounds quarterly, and the other bank compounds continuously. So you're going to need to decide which equation do I need to use for each of these banks. For part B, you're going to need to figure out which bank is the better option if Hannah wants to invest for 6 years. Okay, so we're going to need to know what is the value in our account when t equals 6 for both of them. Okay, you can kind of pause if you need to, take notes. For question 3, so this is another question that's going to involve an exponential model representing what's happening. This is exponential decay. We do start with 800 milligrams. And now there's one kind of key fact that you're going to have to think about. So we need to determine to the nearest tenth of an hour how long Mateo has to wait until he can take another 800 milligram dose of the drug. And we're told that he can only take the drug, he can only take that drug once 15% of the original dose is left in the body. So the equation we're going to use is just a standard exponential decay. What we start with here is 800. Our rate is that 0.347 that's given to us. The time is something we're going to have to solve for. And now the value of A, it's not told to us directly, but we know that it's when only 15% of that 800 milligrams is left in the body. So you're going to need to find out what that number is before you solve that equation. All right, so you can pause, take notes on that, and then that question you are going to answer on your own. Okay, question 4 is really a question that you're going to need to investigate a little bit with the calculator. One thing I would really focus on, especially as you're evaluating options 1, option 2, option 3, and really, I mean, you could use option 4 on it as well, but I would really focus on this piece of the equation. All right, so that 1 plus 0.02 divided by n raised to the power of n times t. So for each of these, I would think about how could I use my calculator to investigate what happens as n gets bigger. What happens to that interest rate? We could just substitute in different values of n. We actually don't need to know what the t value is there. So I could substitute in what happens when n equals 1, what happens when n equals 2, or n equals 3. Okay, this one we'll consider a little bit of a bonus question. Question 5, you'll have to do in its entirety. What I would recommend you really do for this question is look back at your notes for lesson 7 or lesson 6, where we did an equation almost just like this. Okay, so again, look back in Google Classroom for those notes. All right, that's it, and that's the extent of the video for lesson 9.